It is nighttime in Egypt, where we have been seeing more huge demonstrations for and against the military-installed regime. In an unusual move, the army chief called supporters to the streets. More than 3 weeks ago, the military threw out Mohamed Morsi as president. Egyptians who want him back also rallying on this day. And some of those protests have turned violent. State media report 2 people were killed in Alexandria. Well, we are covering both camps for you. Let's start with our very own Ben Wiedemann, who is there in Tahrir Square and joins us now live. Ben, set the scene for us.
Well, what we've got behind me, Aisha, is a huge crowd of people who have come into Tahrir Square. And just looking down into the street, more people are coming in. They're crowding the bridges over the Nile. A very, very enthusiastic crowd indeed, and often you hear these helicopters fly overhead and the crowd cheers for them as well, because of course they are the symbol of the military. And the people here in this square very strongly voicing their support for the defense minister, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. There's another one of those helicopters. They're now lit up by lasers shown from the crowd. Now, when we were earlier down in Tahrir Square, we spoke to many people who say they want the government, the army, to launch an offensive against terrorism and to crack down on the Muslim Brotherhood. This evening, we're hearing reports of street battles in some towns in the Sinai. That is a place where there have been daily attacks on the military and the police, daily deadly attacks, a matter of fact. And this clearly is one of the major factors behind the thinking that's coming out of the Egyptian army, that they're facing a serious problem. And Afghanistan, as one man described it to me, in the Sinai Peninsula. Aisha?
Ben, as you mentioned your conversations with people down in Tahrir Square earlier on, let me ask you this. They talk about supporting the military, taking on those Muslim Brotherhood supporters that are protesting for Mohamed Morsi to be reinstated. How far does that support go? Because there are those who worry that if a military crackdown is launched, this could lead to a civil war in Egypt.
Certainly, that is one of the concerns that you hear. Many of them say that they want to see the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood arrested and put on trial. There's a certain amount of hesitation to actually clear out those protests in Nasser City and other parts of Egypt, where there are very vocal and numerous supporters of the Brotherhood, of the deposed Egyptian president. But certainly there is a desire in this among those in the crowd below to see the leadership of the Brotherhood put behind bars.
And Ben, how long do they plan on staying out there in Tahrir Square?
It's hard to say, but I can imagine this is going to be pretty noisy well into the night and possibly into the morning. There's no suggestion, however, that anybody wants this to become an open-end sit-in along the lines of what we've seen among the Brotherhood supporters in Nasser City. This is important as a symbol, but to turn it into a sit-in could be problematic just for the functioning of the city.